All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our 10 a.m. lecture with Jeff Niznik. Jeff works at the Weiner Wellness Center, and besides being an amazing person, he is an applied kinesiologist. Today, Jeff is going to share his vast knowledge on irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, and ulcerative colitis. I'm really excited to actually hear this. So Jeff, thank you so much for being here and thank you for doing this. I'm going to let you take it away and I'm going to step aside.
All right, thanks for the introduction, Tracy. I really appreciate that. Yeah, folks, my name is Jeffrey Niznik. I'm a nutritional consultant here at the Weiner Wellness Center. Been here for about 2 years and a few months, and for 28 years, I've been doing kinesiology testing, muscle testing, body work, work with people, working with nutrition, helping to improve a person's nutritional status so your body will work better. And the focus of today's presentation is about irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and natural solutions, natural things you can do to help yourself out with these conditions. Now, so a little bit about me. I'm a 1978 graduate of Center High School. I went to Carnegie Mellon studying engineering. I worked for civil engineering firms in the DC area for about 5.5 years. And then in early 1991, I came back to the Pittsburgh area and got into the natural health and healing arts field. I had a bunch of back pain, neck pain, dysfunction, couldn't digest food well, woke up exhausted every day of my life, had severe arthritis, just my body wasn't working right. And this really has been my savior. And I've used this knowledge base to help everybody else I come in contact with. So specialized training in muscle testing, reflex and contact reflex analysis, allergy elimination techniques, trigger point therapy, stretching, all sorts of different things. Over the past many years, I've learned all these things, and I use this with a lot of my clients. So I'm on the radio Monday mornings at 10 a.m. and Friday afternoons at 5 p.m. Once a month, I'm on Nutritional Frontiers radio show, usually on a Thursday morning at 8 a.m. And once a month or so, I'm on KDKA. So you can pick us up and listen to broadcasts at any time on that. If you are traveling in the Pittsburgh area, you can't get these radio stations, you can go to khbradio.com and check that out. So, and I'm not, a little bit of an FDA disclaimer here, I'm not a medical doctor. And I don't treat, cure, prevent any disease or medical condition. Yeah, this presentation and these statements are informational purposes only, and they're not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, prevent any disease. And should you have any medical condition, you're advised to seek a licensed healthcare practitioner. So leaky gut, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, these things don't have to be a life sentence. With proper diet, nutrition, digestion, voltage, and time, you can detoxify, you can rebuild your body, you can improve, you can restore your health. It's your lifestyle that brought you to the health challenges you have. And it will take a change of lifestyle to affect a change in that. You can't keep the same lifestyle and expect to have different results. It takes a change in all that. So there's no magic pill for this. So there's no magic pill that can miraculously transform your health challenges into a non-existent state. If your lifestyle, it was your lifestyle, the lack of daily complete nutrition, the exposure to toxins, the habitual way you emotionally react to certain situations, past physical, emotional, and chemical traumas, the lack of movement and exercise, et cetera, that brought you to the condition your body's in, the challenges, the health challenges you have. There's no magic pill to fix that. It's going to take a lifestyle change. A lifestyle meaning like maybe eating more vegetables, taking the right supplement routine, not eating toxic food, detoxifying your body, moving your body. It takes that. And that's what I do here at the Weiner Wellness Center. I help you set up a system like this to change your lifestyle so your body can change. So I work with body meridians, and the way energy flows through your body, we are energetic beings. All your cells communicate with all your other cells with electrical current. And electrical current can wax and wane. You can have decent current flow in certain parts of your body. You can have poor current flow in other parts of your body. And with muscle testing, which is energy testing, we're going to energy test you and find out how well this voltage and energy is flowing through the different organ systems of your body, different reflex points on your body. And where we find you have a weakness, we find which particular nutrients strengthen those weak reflexes. Well, people say, you know, how can that possibly happen? Well, if you look at any supplement, just pick up a supplement, the instant you touch it or instant you think about it, every cell in your body knows the electrical magnetic radiation field that this thing gives off, and whether that's going to improve your, your resistance in your body, if it's going to improve your energy flow, or whether your body's going to react negatively to it. You can find out if you have a positive reaction to it or negative reaction to it. And very, very simple. You test the body, scan the different reflexes, find out what's weak. You find out if this particular thing strengthens those weak reflexes. Your body will tell you what energies it wants to help it, manipulate your own metabolism. So, we don't cure, treat, or prevent anything. We can just discover where you have weaknesses and discover what particular nutrients strengthens the weak reflexes. So that's basically, in a nutshell, what I do. So colon problems. Now, abdominal pain, fever, constipation, those are common symptoms of colon problems. Multiple potential colon problems can cause bleeding, hemorrhage. Rapid bleeding is visible in the stool, but very slow bleeding may not be visible. Inflammatory bowel disease, IBS, another name for Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, these are issues that people have. Now, before we go further, success-wise, I have two stories to relate to you. I have many, many stories, but two in particular. Years ago, I was doing a presentation at a local business, and a woman was there, and I did an allergy reversal treatment for her. And she told me about her mother. Her mother was having a bunch of issues. For 22 years, she had irritable bowel syndrome. I went over there and I tested her. She tested very strongly for an antifungal regime, a bunch of different antifungal supplements. And we found several foods. She had a very limited diet because she knew certain foods she ate just ran right through her. And so she didn't eat those foods, but many other foods she was eating, she had a very negative response to. So when she discovered this, she stopped eating those foods and she took a different supplement regime. And within the first month, now mind you, this has been going on for 22 years. In the first month, she was practically normal. At the end of the second month, she was getting constipation, which is mind-blowing to her, because when you have irritable bowel syndrome, and if people suffer from it, you're many times a prisoner of your own house. You're afraid to go anywhere because you don't have control of your bowels. And she was very grateful to get a good part of her life back, a good bit of function back. That was one story. Another story was a 92-year-old woman came to me, and for 35 years, she had Crohn's disease and chronic diarrhea for 35 years. And saw a bunch of different doctors, just like the other lady did over the years, took a bunch of different medications, tried all these different things, and nothing was working. She was 92. She was slumped down in a wheelchair, could barely walk even with the use of a walker. She was practically blind, where she couldn't read anymore with a magnifying glass for the previous 8 years. She couldn't even read with a magnifying glass. She had a hearing aid, and she also had dementia. She had a very difficult time communicating with anybody. Her daughter and her son, very, very, very limited conversation between the two. But so I tested her and found out she had a very strong reaction to a bunch of different antifungal supplements. And she decided, her daughter, and her decided that she should take this stuff. She was eating several foods she had a very negative response to, just like the other woman. She had a limited diet, but many of the things she was eating, she had a very negative response to. So she also, I had her, look into eating a lot more eggs, a lot more high cholesterol foods. To make new brain cells, you need cholesterol for this. And basically, she changed her diet. Within, 4 weeks, she no longer had chronic diarrhea. In 6 weeks, she had perfectly formed stools. The 10-week mark, she was walking at home without her cane. The 14-week mark, she was reading again with the help of a magnifying glass. And at the 17 weeks into the, basically changing her lifestyle, again, it was a lifestyle that she changed. It wasn't one magic pill. 17 weeks into it, she had a 3-hour conversation with her daughter and her son, which is truly amazing, because now she can communicate and she can tell her daughter and her son the things that her daycare workers were doing and things they were stealing and so forth. She can communicate now. This was a 92-year-old woman in a wheelchair that had all these issues for 35 years. So again, I didn't treat her for anything. We just found out where she had weak reflexes on her body. We found out what particular nutrients strengthen those weak reflexes. We found out through kinesiology tests and what food she had a poor response to, what food she had a good response to, and lo and behold, her life changed around. So there was no magic pill there. There was a supplement regime that she initiated. She was taking supplements, but basically took many different things, changed her diet up, and life changed for her. You know, I can't claim that this will work for you, but hey, it's worth a shot. If what you've been doing for years and years and years wasn't working for you, maybe give this a try. Call the Wine and Wellness Center at 412-922-9355, and they'll set you up an appointment with me. The beauty of what I do is I'll spend an hour with you. I have time to scan your body and do all these tests. We test for heavy metal toxicities through kinesiology testing wise, test to see if you have a negative response to heavy metals, which particular detoxifier strengthens your negative response to those things. And you know, people have decided to do this. So again, I'm not going to tell you to do this. You're going to decide on your own to do this, and people's lives changed. So I aid and assist you in improving your nutritional status, and your body will do the rest. You know, I can't fix you. No drug can fix you. Only you can fix yourself. You know, your cells require nutrition to work, and this is what we give you here at the Wine and Wellness Center. So leaky gut syndrome, you know, your intestines can become porous, particularly in the sigmoid colon. The last part of your large intestine is your sigmoid colon. That's where all your stool collects, and that can leach out toxins in your body as well. So here's a picture of your sigmoid colon. This is where your stool collects, and basically the organs that are in closest proximity to that could possibly get irritated from toxins leaching out of your large intestine and affecting those organs. So intestinal health is dependent on several factors. You know, there's layers of good beneficial bacteria that are supposed to line your intestinal walls. Now, these are probiotics. Many different, you think about preservatives in foods. If you're eating foods that have preservatives in it, are those preservatives stunting or retarding or destroying the good bacteria living in your intestines? So the more meals you make at home, the more preservative-free meals you eat, you're raising your chances of having better health. So ingesting 91 different nutrients, there was a big research study done years and years ago where they did almost 20,000, over 20,000 autopsies on all vertebrate animals, like 480 different vertebrate animals and 3,000 different humans. And they looked at 20 million tissue sample derivations, and they found there's 91 different nutrients we need to fuel all these processes that are supposed to happen in your body, in your cells. Your cells have all these things going on, and that requires nutrients to fuel all these reactions. So making sure you have complete nutrition so your cells will do all the things they're supposed to do. For instance, they've identified 550 different kinases in your cells. These are enzymes that will activate a pathway or cause a whole chain of events to occur. But if you don't have all the trace minerals and micro trace minerals, all the different building blocks you need to build all these kinases, you have some level of cellular dysfunction. But the beauty of your body is, and this is one thing everyone should really, really know or learn, is that we are replacing all of our cells all the time. And for instance, it takes every 6 weeks, every cell of your skin is completely replaced with new cells. You know, most of the dust in your house is dead skin cells. Every 8 weeks, every cell of your liver is replaced. Every 8 months, every cell of your central nervous system and brain is replaced. Every 14 months, every cell of your joints are replaced. And within 2 years, every cell of your bones are replaced. The problem is, most people have, is you're nutritionally deficient. Almost everyone I see is some level of need for nutrients. And people are tearing down old, weak, nutritionally deficient cells that have some level of dysfunction, and most people are building new, weak, nutritionally deficient cells that have the same level of dysfunction, if not worse. And so the idea is, if you can get all these nutrients into your mouth, digest it and break it down, get it through your intestinal wall and into your bloodstream so your cells can utilize these nutrients, life can change. And this happens for so many people. So ingesting 91 nutrients is a critical thing of what I do with many of my clients. And then proper digestion. Dr. Weiner, for years, talked about how as people age, you generally have a decreased ability to digest food, either in the production of stomach acid or digestive enzymes or both. I have 16 different supplements back here that are involved with digestion. And I'll test your body to see which particular one your body has the greatest response to. There's reflexes on your body that will help us find out if you have a stronger need for digestive enzyme formulas or stomach acid promoting formulas, those types of things. And we can pinpoint your nutrition this way. So proper digestion to get nutrients in your bloodstream to provide the building blocks for new cells is critical to minimizing or eliminating eating anything that irritates the intestines. This is a big, big one. When people come in and see me, most people have not been taking 91 nutrients. Most people have between 6 and 12 different weak reflexes on their body, like the reflex for the ascending large intestine, the transverse large intestine, the descending large intestine, the lungs, liver, spleen, kidneys, digestive enzyme, all these different things. People will fail on between 6 and 12 of those weak reflexes. But they will also fail on 40 to 60 foods. I'll ask people ahead of time, are there any particular foods that you eat that you know that bother you? And many people say, no, nothing really bothers me. Or many people say, yeah, one or two things. You know, they'll say, you know, dairy bothers me or something. I'll test them and they'll fail on 60 different things. And they're shocked, like, what? Test it again, test it again. I test it again, I show them, and it fails, it fails, it fails. And it's usually because we're nutritionally deficient. And the reason why I say that is people will take their 91 nutrients for the first time, a digestive aid for the first time, and they'll eliminate or really reduce the number of different foods that they failed poorly on. They come back 4 weeks later and I test them again, and usually they don't fail on any foods except for wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Those things are exceedingly difficult for most people to digest. That's a whole different topic, but the gluten is very, very difficult to digest. The gluten in American wheat products is 5 times the amount of gluten that's in wheat grown in Italy. They have an ancient grain over there. They've rebred our wheat here to have really high levels of gluten in it, and most people fail on it. So when people come back after 4 weeks, they failed on 60 foods before, now they fail on wheat, barley, rye, and oats, and usually that's it. Sometimes a couple other things. If you fail on other things, we could do allergy reversals for those other things. That's a whole nother topic we're going to talk about on another day. And so by finding out what foods you have a negative response to, by finding out what reflexes are weak, by finding out which particular nutrients you have the strongest reaction to, people change their lifestyle, change their diet, change the way they eat and process foods, and life changes. So, and then pathogens. Many people who have colon problems may have an overgrowth of fungus in their intestines, or parasites, or bacteria, or virus. You can scan the body, and the body will tell you if you have a strong reaction to Candida or different Candida fungal killing supplements, or different parasite killing supplements. Your body will tell you. There's a reflex on your body that will tell me or you if you have a challenge with these type of pathogens, for particularly fungus or parasites. And then if you fail on that reflex, and that reflex is strengthened by, say, 5 different antifungal formulas, but none of the parasite formulas strengthen those reflexes, chances are you got a fungus. And it's up to you to decide to, take the supplement or not. In other words, I can't tell you that this will cure you. I can't tell you that this will fix you. But, the people that do decide to take the nutrition, they do exceedingly well. Okay, so all of the waste gathered up by your lymphatic system, digestive system, excretory systems accumulate in your sigmoid colon. And then the roles that toxins and heavy metals play. We're all exposed to heavy metals and dangerous toxins. You can contrast our environment today to what it was like if you lived here in the year 1200. What kind of poisons or toxins would you have been exposed to if you lived here in the year 1200? Maybe some fire smoke, but other than that, nothing. So our need today to detoxify is exceedingly higher than it was if we lived here a long time ago. And so your cells have the ability to detoxify heavy metals and toxic chemicals if you have the nutrients to activate the processes to make that detoxification happen, and the ability to mobilize it out of your body. So heavy metals and toxins oxidize cholesterols in the walls of cells, rendering them useless. And then your liver has got to produce more cholesterol to patch up the damage from that. So if you have elevated cholesterol levels, Do you have a lot of inflammation in your body and you have all this damaging to cells? You have heavy metals in your system? That's quite a possibility. So the walls of your cells have cholesterols in them. These cell walls may be getting damaged from toxins and heavy metals in your body. And having mercury-filled teeth can be an additive factor because every day of your life, you're breathing in mercury. Every time you chew, you're getting mercury in your system. So the part of your body most exposed to toxins is the sigmoid colon, is where your stool collects, all your waste collects. The long-term health is, your long-term health is dependent on the health of your intestines, and particularly that sigmoid colon. And the more porous your intestines become, the more toxins may again leak into your body. So the organs in closest proximity to the sigmoid colon is the prostate and bladder in men, and the uterus, ovaries, and bladder in women. And what do so many people have problems with? You know, bladder and prostate problems, or uterus, ovarian cysts, uterine fibroids, all these things. Where's that coming from? It could be coming from spillover of toxins from the large intestine. There's a book called Prostate Health in 90 Days by an attorney named Clapp, C-L-A-P-P. Great book to read. And the whole premise of the book is, toxins accumulate in your body. They can leach through your intestinal walls. And so maybe to cleanse your body, get toxins out of your system so you don't get damaging to your cells is a good way to go. Okay, so here's a schematic of a female pelvic area. You got the bladder, pubic bone, uterus, the rectum. You can see in your rectum where the stool collects, if that's porous, the organs that are in closest proximity to that, the uterus and the bladder, and ovaries as well, can be affected by toxins coming out of there. In guys, the prostate, the bladder, and guys as well, if toxins are leaching out of your large intestine. So, of course, then what do you do about that? Your intestines require nutrition to replace all those cells. They require probiotics to line the intestinal wall to protect you from things. And much of things in our diet really interferes with that. So how can you tell if your intestines are inflamed? Of course, the symptoms of irritable bowel disease may vary depending on the location and severity of inflammation, but they may include diarrhea, which occurs when affected parts of the bowel can't reabsorb water, bleeding ulcers, which could cause blood to show up in the stool, and stomach pain, cramping, bloating due to bowel obstruction. So what are the early signs of colon cancer? The signs and symptoms of colon cancer include a change in your bowel habits, including diarrhea or constipation, or a change in the consistency of your stool, which lasts longer than 4 weeks, a rectal bleeding or blood in your stool, and persistent abdominal discomfort, such as cramps, gas, or pain. Now, healthy suggestions. Identify which foods you have a negative response to and eliminate them from your diet. Well, how do you identify those foods? The simplest way to do, kinesiology test, muscle test it. Come and see me, spend some time with me, and let me test you, and I can scan through pages and pages of food in just a few minutes and show you what you have a negative response to. And this is the amazing thing, how people react to all these negative things. They change their diet, they change their nutrition, they come back, and they have such a greatly reduced negative reaction to all these things, and symptoms seem to disappear. I'll tell you another story about that. I had 2 clients came in to see me. Both were 31. Both were trying to lose weight, were working out, but couldn't lose any weight. The wife had open sores like nasal fissures in her nose for 2.5 years and couldn't get rid of these things. Saw several doctors for it and couldn't get rid of it. And had fatigue, just didn't feel energetic at all. Her husband was doing 4 weight training sessions a week and 3 cardio sessions a week, and he couldn't lose any weight either. He had a rash over his skin, didn't have great energy either. I tested both of them. Both of them tested very strongly for antifungal supplements, and they tested very poorly on a whole bunch of different foods. They eliminated those foods. They got on the nutrition plan. They came back a month later. Her nasal fissures disappeared, cleared up and disappeared. She had it for 2.5 years. And the only thing she did was she changed her diet, changed her nutritional status, and her body fixed it. I didn't fix it. We just tested her, and her body said, she had a strong reaction to this stuff. So her husband, who had this rash that he had for, 4 or 5 months, completely disappeared. The wife lost 5 pounds. The husband lost 15 pounds. And both of them had great energy. And the difference was they changed their lifestyle. It wasn't the magic pill. It was a lifestyle change that did this for him. That included identifying what foods not to eat, identifying what foods are good for you, identifying what weak reflexes you have in your body, and identifying which particular nutrients strengthen those weak reflexes. They changed it up and their life changed radically. So identify which foods you have a negative response to and eliminate them from your diet. Identify if you have a need to support you digesting food. You know, as you age, you may need some digestive enzyme help or stomach acid support health. Eat a non-acidifying diet rich in minerals. You know, the more minerals you get in your body, you know, it can only help you. Identify if you need immune support, you know, with muscle testing. Identify if you need detoxification support with muscle testing, energy testing. So, and identify which set of 91 nutrients your body is most attracted to. Well, we have a wide range of different multivitamin, multi-mineral formulas in here. If you can't get in to see me, Frontier Multivitamin by Nutritional Frontiers tests better than any other multivitamin I've ever tested on over 90% of the time. You usually cannot go wrong by taking Nutritional Frontiers multivitamin. It's usually that with a good mineral formula, a good fish oil formula, and a digestive aid. Gives you most of those 91 nutrients that you need. Oh, did I just skip one here? Let me see. Okay, so pH scale. There's always this acid-alkaline balance going on in your body. Everything you eat and everything you digest in your mouth has an effect on this acid and alkaline balance in your body. If you look at a pH scale, a neutral reading on a pH scale is 7.0. That actually has to do with the concentration of how many hydrogen ions you have in solutions in your body. If you take the natural log of 1 times 10 to the minus 7, you get 7.0. That's neither here nor there. Your blood is always alkaline. A reading of 7.35 to 7.45. This is homeostasis. This is where your blood will always be, no matter what. There's 6 different buffering processes your body has to neutralize the acidity of your blood to always make it alkaline. In that alkaline state, the voltage in your blood will always be minus 20 to minus 25 millivolts. This is where your whole body should be, but rarely is it there. And if you're doing some work and you smash your thumb with a hammer and your thumb swells up and turns red, that's actually your body alkalizing your thumb, which changes the voltage to minus 50 to minus 60 millivolts. At that voltage, you can activate your stem cells to regrow your tissues like brand new. The more negative voltage you have, the more oxygen may saturate into your tissues. The more oxygen-rich your tissues are, the less any disease has a chance to live or grow or flourish. The guy that invented biopsy needles discovered when he put a biopsy needle into a cancerous tumor and he measured the electrical potential across it, it was always at plus 30 millivolts. That plus sign versus the minus 20 to minus 25 for your blood, this was at plus 30. That plus sign means this is a very acidic environment, very little oxygen saturation environment, and it's a better breeding ground for all the pathogens, bacteria, virus, fungus, parasites, cancer, and so forth. So the more you can try to alkalize your body, get yourself to that alkaline state, the less the diseases has a chance to live and grow and flourish, you know, and that requires minerals. You're getting minerals in your system. Now, here's the thing what I said earlier about the wheat, the barley, the rye, the oats. Most people cannot digest the gluten that's in the wheat, barley, rye, or the gliadin that's in oats. When you eat that, it ends up coating the villi in your intestines, and that can block your absorption of minerals. When you block your absorption of minerals, your body can become too acidic. And then your body's going to steal from your bones to make your blood alkaline, steal minerals from your bones. And that your whole acidic body is a better breeding ground for all the trouble and diseases. So there's a dental connection to all this. If you have issues with your intestines, there's a dental connection. We'll get into the schematic in a section of that. So root canal teeth and mercury amalgams and infected crown teeth can block voltage to different organs of your body. But root canals in particular can infect and inflame your body every day of your life with bacteria and or fungus, along with their associated gliotoxins and thioethers. These toxins are said to be worse than botulism. You know, these are U.S. Department of Defense weapons-grade toxins, the stuff that's in your root canal tooth, infecting your body. I had 2 root canal teeth for 41 years, and basically, I had infection in my body all that time from the bacteria fungus coming out of these teeth, infecting the gum, infecting the bone, getting in my body, and living in my body. as well as the toxins they produce, are damaging cells. So what do you do about that? Many dentists don't know this connection to your health. So see a biological dentist. Biological dentists are basically naturopathic doctors that do dentistry. You find dentists in your area that do this. You can call the Weiner Wellness Center at 412-922-9355. We have a list of a couple of dentists we can refer you to. And have them advise you on possibly replacing your mercury fillings, fixing the crown teeth, or possibly removing root canals. That's part of what I did. Part of my plan to heal myself and work very well was I got rid of my root canals. Okay, so mercury is a poison. Research has shown that mercury, even in small amounts, is more toxic than lead, cadmium, and even arsenic. Some of the most common signs and symptoms of mercury exposure include irritability, fits of anger, lack of energy, fatigue, low self-esteem, drowsiness, decline of intellect, low self-control, nervousness, memory loss, depression, anxiety, shyness, timidity, and insomnia. And mercury vapor released from mercury dental fillings is absorbed very rapidly and thoroughly by your body, primarily by inhaling and swallowing. This is not a good thing to have in your mouth. So here's a chart of teeth. Now, in your household, you have an electrical circuit breaker panel, and all wires go to that panel, and you can flip a switch on or off to turn voltage on or off coming to and from that panel. Your teeth are the same thing. All energy of your entire body ends up going through your mouth through these meridian systems. And if you have, say for instance, you have a mercury filling or an infected crown tooth or a root canal tooth on one of your molars in the back of your mouth on the bottom part of your jaw, you very well could be blocking voltage to your lungs and large intestine. For me, these two front teeth blocked voltage to my kidney and bladder for 41 years until I got rid of those teeth. Then you need that voltage to make new cells. You need that voltage to keep an alkaline environment in your body. So this is very, very important. Teeth are very, very important. If you want more information about that, go to YouTube and look up Dr. Jerry Tennant, T-E-N-N-A-N-T, Dr. Jerry Tennant, and a video called Healing is Voltage. He's a great, great video. He's the guy that was partially helped to basically save my life. Okay, allergy elimination treatments. So if you're eating foods that are irritating your system, these could be healthy things. There's a possible way we can reduce your negative response to things, but not only food, but many people have a problem with dogs and cats and so forth that live in a household, they're allergic to the pets, or they visit relatives, and those relatives has pets you have a negative response to. I do allergy reversal treatments. This is a method of stimulating the acupuncture points, running up and down the spine while you hold in a jar the substance you had a problem with during a muscle test. So a breathing technique is added to the procedure, and afterwards, you stimulate many acupressure reflex points in a loop going around the body, and then you hold the jar of whatever it was for 30 minutes, and your body energetically resets. I know this sounds really weird, but people have been doing this since 1984 when Dr. Devi Nambudripad started teaching people about this. So what is that, 36 years? She's been teaching people around the world. She taught Dr. Weiner this system, and I learned this years ago and seen amazing things. So having, say for instance, you have a problem with celery, and we go through our testing, you fail on celery, you fail on 40, 50, 60 other foods. You come back 4 weeks later, I test you again, and just wheat, barley, rye, and oats you fell on, and celery still. And we let it go another month, and you come back, you still fell on celery. Well, we could do an allergy reversal treatment to celery and hopefully shut up your negative response to celery. And people have told me amazing things, how they're around there. People were sneezing all the time being around cats. And all of a sudden we do this 10-minute treatment and they don't have a negative response to cats anymore. So this is something that's available here at the Weiner Wellness Center. Set an appointment with me, and we'll test all this stuff. Okay, digestion reflex points. So just below your sternum on the right side and left side are reflex points for digestion. As we age, most people generally produce lower amounts of stomach acid or digestive enzymes. And this reduces your ability to digest food properly. And there are reflex points on your body that will tell me if you need support in digesting your food. And again, I have 16 different supplements back there. You can see that a whole line of 16 different supplements that help people with digestion. And we can find out which particular one. This is the beauty of kinesiology testing. You can find which particular one you have the greatest reaction to. Instead of guessing, will this help, will this help, will this help? This can help to pinpoint whether you have a good response to it or a poor response to it. So energy testing for stored detrimental emotions. Now this is amazing. I have 156 testing vials that have the energy of emotions imprinted on them. I know this sounds crazy, but I've had great results with this with several people. I can test you to see which ones you have a negative response to, and I would ask your body to see if an allergy reversal treatment is warranted for all the emotions you tested negatively to, and if yes, we can do an allergy reversal treatment for emotions. I know that sounds far-fetched, but hey, stay open-minded about that one. And folks, just you have to believe. I had all these health challenges my whole life. I woke up exhausted every day with brain fog, so much body pain, neck pain, back pain, knee pain, couldn't walk very well, just degeneration of joints, arthritic spurring, my biceps tore, all these things. But I believed, and I had sleep apnea too, and I had a surgery for that, and none of that worked. But I believed that there was a reason why my body wasn't functioning. And what I found was when I took in a whole bunch of nutrients and I stayed away from food that inflamed me, and I took a digestive aid to help me break my food down, my entire life changed. March 10th, 1980, my back went out of place when I was in my dorm room at Carnegie Mellon. And that was over 40 years ago. I haven't been able to do deadlifts or squats or anything like that since. Until about within the last year, I've been able to do squats again, which to bend down to get plastic containers out of a kitchen cabinet was an impossibility 3 years ago. And now I can squat all the way down to the floor, it doesn't bother me at all. And the difference is you have to realize your body will fix itself. You're replacing cells all the time. And if you nutrify your cells completely, you give yourself complete nutrition versus fractionated toxic nutrition, you give yourself complete nutrition, life can change for you. And somebody somewhere somehow can lead you to help you heal yourself. And hopefully I'll be able to do that for you. And you always leave open the possibility that your health challenges can be reversed, because it's quite possible, because I've seen it happen time and time and time again, even in myself. So now this is something that really should be taught to everybody from a young age on up. A pathway to health and healing 101. So number one is avoid all inflammatory agents, especially the 12 bad foods. There's 12 basic bad foods. We have a list here in the office I give out to people. Avoid those things. Avoid things that inflame your body. Put out immune system fires. If you had a bacteria in your system, viruses, fungus, parasites, maybe take a proper immune boosting regime to help you get rid of that stuff. Remove root canal teeth and mercury amalgams. These are things that can block voltage, energy flow in your body. Take in 91 nutrients and maybe some special formulas on top of that. But not only get it in your mouth, but you got to be able to digest it and break it down and get it through your intestinal walls into your bloodstream. Many people are having pizza and don't realize they're coating the villi in their intestines and blocking absorption of nutrients. Eliminate toxic chemicals, heavy metals, and wastes. That only makes sense. We're exposed to toxins from everywhere. And if you watched Dr. Ivy Pruse's seminar on these types of things, these things can interfere with the coding of your genes and basically cause bad things to happen in your body. Improve energy flow through scars. So this is something that when I first heard about this, I'm like, what? Like, how can a scar bother you? Well, energy meridian lines, get my little guy over here. So here's a little diagram, a little guy showing acupuncture energy meridian lines that run in your body. And say, for instance, you have a big nasty gash and a scar right across your forearm here. Well, this black line that goes through the forearm, I don't know if you can see this or not, this black line is the energy meridian line of the large intestine. And if you have a big scar there, you can block voltage, energy flow to your large intestine by having the scar there. So what do you do about scars? Now, how many women have had a C-section? When you look at the middle of the abdomen of a person, you've got the circulation and sex energy meridian running down the center of the body. You got the kidney meridian on either side of that. The stomach, the spleen, and liver on either sides of those. And if you have a C-section, you cut across those, you can block the way energy flows, voltage flows in all those different organs, disrupting function. So then what do you do about that? Essential oils. essential oils are like voltage in a bottle. You find out test the body to find out which particular oil strengthens. First of all, test the scar to see if it is an issue. And if it is a weak reflex, a weak response there, find out which particular essential oil strengthens that reflex. You can put it across the scar. I would dilute it with a carrier oil like coconut oil, something like that, organic coconut oil. But also you put it on the bottom of your feet. There's all these different reflex points on the bottom of your feet. And say, for instance, you have a scar interfering with the way voltage flows in your large intestine. On the outside of both of your feet and across the middle, just below the knuckle part of your foot, is the energy meridian, energy reflex area of the large intestine. So put it on your scars and then put it on your feet, and that'll help put voltage in your body and your organs. And then you got to exercise and move your body. And nutrient delivery to your body and lymphatic drainage is controlled by the more you move, the more you help to heal your body, basically. And use mental imaging, relaxation, and meditation. Use the power of your mind to help you with these things. If you believe you can be healthy and well, if you believe you can turn things around and you relax and meditate on this as well, you can really advance your healing. If you believe you're never going to get well, you're never going to get well. So just put that, even if you don't believe it, tell yourself you do believe it. And keep saying it over and over again. Practice it. Practice meditation, relaxation, visual imaging. Allow that to direct your health. So with that, that's the end of my presentation, folks. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you. And if there's any other comments, let's open up to the comments. So Tracy, you're still there?
I am. Very, very informative. Thank you so much. That was great. There are some comments, so I'm just going to scroll back to the top here. We had someone say they had H. pylori years ago and were put on very high doses of antibiotics. Does that ever go away?
Well, H. pylori, Helicobacter pylori in the stomach there, Dr. Wallach talks about the acidity of your stomach. And he says many people are underproducing stomach acid, and it is that underproduction of stomach acid is not killing the bacteria or fungus living in your stomach. So doing things to help improve your stomach acid production, even having low thyroid function can interfere with stomach acid production. So we can test on all those things. There's a supplement called Immunity. I've had several people tell me they have pain in their stomach there. We don't know if it's some type of infection, but they tested the bacterial reflex was active on them, and they tested very strongly for Immunity that has Andrographis in it. Other people tested well for Nutritional Frontiers Immunomax, and their problems seem to disappear. You know, I didn't make any claims to them, this will fix this, this will fix that. This is what happened for them. And of course, having the antibiotics will destroy the intestinal flora living in your intestines, so it might be prudent to take a probiotic formula to help repopulate your intestines with good beneficial bacteria. Eating yogurt, eating fermented products as well, eating sauerkraut. Joe Messina talks about making your own sauerkraut. You just basically get a cabbage and sugar and start making your own sauerkraut. But having a good beneficial probiotics to realign those intestines, it may be very, very wise to do, especially if you had an antibiotic. So come in and see me. Let me spend some time with me. 412-922-9355. Set an appointment, and we'll see what we can do to scan you and see what your body says it likes. So
yeah, and Jeff, you can do this remotely as well, correct? So they don't have to physically be there with you. You could do this if they lived in another state.
Yes, if you live in another state, sure. Tell you a story about that. My brother's dog, he had his dog named Binks, and Binks was a riot. He was a Greyhound Doberman mix, and he was so much fun. He was a very loving dog, and he was a big dog. I would go lay on his reclining chair, and he'd plop up in my lap, his whole body on top of me, and he just wanted to be hugged. Well, Banks was, I think, 6.5 years old. He's almost 7, and he was violently ill for 4 months. He was on his way out. My brother took him to 4 different vets, and no one can find out what was wrong with him. So he's calling me. He said he doesn't think Binks going to last a couple more days. I was in Ambridge at the time and just leaving a client's house. My brother lived in Cadiz, Kentucky, like a 9-hour drive away. So I asked to be able to remotely test his dog. And I remotely tested his dog, found out his dog. I said, and when I scanned his body, the only thing I saw was some issue with his heart. I didn't know what was going on with his heart, but he had some issue with his heart. And when I said that to my brother, he goes, yeah, he says, one doctor, he said, thought he might have some issue with his heart, but he didn't know what it was. So I said his dog was eating chicken that was putting bacteria in his system. He needs to change the dog's diet there. But I tested his dog remotely on all these different supplements. And I got a group of supplements and I drove down there immediately, got there about midnight. We tested his dog physically right there, and his dog tested strongly on everything that I tested him for. We gave him the supplements in like 3 days. The dog that couldn't walk, Ken had to carry him outside to do his business. He wasn't eating for several days. He turned right around, was like a new dog again, which was miraculous. So
Wow.
yes, it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. We can access this information energy pattern system in the world and test you remotely and see what we can do to help you as well.
That's great. So people are asking if they can test themselves for essential oils and discover which ones help with scarring.
Yeah, there's some people that can test themselves. Myself, I test myself on several things. O-ring test. I'm right-handed. I use my right hand pointer. I don't think it matters. My left hand, I pinch my ring finger and thumb finger together, and I pull through and I tug, and I give it a brief tug. Then I'll grab something and said, and I'll feel the energy of this product. I said, this is licorice high grade. Let me see how my body responds to this. And I can't begin to hold that. Whereas other supplements like Frontier Multivitamin, let me see how my body responds to this. And that is mega strong. Whereas this one, I can't even begin to hold that. That's one way to test. Some people sway test. They hold it against their chest and relax. And if you fall forward, they say that's good for you. If you fall backwards, they say your body's repelling it. That's one way you can test. Or other people can learn how to muscle test with an arm. You can muscle test each other people with an arm test, or any muscle actually will work. So there are ways to self-test as well.
Yeah, great stuff. So, all those ways. And then there's just one or two more questions here. Do you have the allergy treatments? Do you have to do the allergy treatments one issue at a time? Or can you say do celery and dog allergy at the same time? What do you prefer as a method of eliminating that frequency?
Yeah, usually when I ask a person's body, in that particular example, I said, would it be equally as beneficial to do the allergy reversal for both of these at the same time? Usually things like that is no. If it was like a group of grasses, like I treated one lady on 13 different grasses at one time. I treated a little boy on several different grasses at one time. In my allergy, in a couple of days, I'll do a seminar on allergies, and there's some pictures of this little boy. Wow, he had super bags under his eyes. He was allergic to grasses, and I did an allergy reversal treatment on all these different grasses, and lo and behold, he was perfectly fine after playing in grass after that. Usually, so we have to ask your body. If there's some things are very, very different energies, usually no. If there's similar energies, like 6, 7 different trees at one time, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so if it's of the same orientation,
Yes.
probably okay to treat them all at the same time. Great. Let's see. One lady asked about taking vitamin C. She's getting a burning sensation, and it looks like the type that she is taking is ascorbic acid 1,000 milligrams. Ascorbic acid 1,000 milligrams is the type.
You might want to consider trying the buffered form of that, the esterified form of vitamin C. They say that has less irritation from doing that. When I test people on vitamin A individually, and vitamin B individually, C, D, and E individually, many people fail on 2 or 3 out of the 5. But when you hold all 5 together, they're usually super strong together. So synergistically, vitamins are meant to work with other vitamins. So if you're going to take a vitamin C, take a multivitamin and a vitamin C. If you're going to take vitamin D, take a multivitamin and a vitamin D. You don't want to take vitamin D just by itself. I would have a multivitamin with that. At least do that.
Wow, awesome. Well, Jeff, you are an impressive lecturer, and I really enjoyed this. And I've tagged a couple of people who could benefit, so I hope everybody else does the same. Tag a friend, share this video, and Jeff, look for that phone to ring for appointments. I'm sure people will love to meet with you in person or even remotely. So thank you very much. And our next presenter is going to be Jamie and Joe. They're going to be talking about what you were just saying, the pro-hormone vitamin D at 11 o'clock. Jeff, thank you again. You were wonderful.
Tracy, thank you. I really appreciate you setting this whole thing up. This has been a mind-opening experience for me, let alone the ability to share this with everybody that's out there. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you again.
Of course.
Folks, I'll be back on the roundtable panel today at noon with Joe Messino and Dr. Orbach, and you have an opportunity then to call in with or to text in questions through this format as well on Facebook as well.
Yeah, so that link's going to be available right on the Facebook page. So please look for that, click into it, and you'll be entered into the meeting room with the doctors. And Jeff will be there with Dr. Orbach and Joe Messino. So you could have all these questions answered live.
And,
all right.
And afterwards is Candace is coming up.
Yeah, Candace is coming up. She's going to finish us up today. All these great acts to follow. She's going to have to do a bang up job, but she always does. She's a great presenter. So we love hearing what she has to say.
Correct.
All right, sir. We'll see you soon. Thank you, everybody, and stay tuned for that 11 o'clock lecture.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Like and share. Take care.